Let the fight begin! As the crowd roared once more, the host quickly made his way out of the ring and went back up onto the small stage where he would judge the fight. Before more words could be spoken, Grimgor screamed, raised his sword, and rushed at Nathan as fast as he could. Grimgor was also concerned that Nathan would seek to yield quickly, so he planned to cut him down before he had the chance. Such a fast and brutal death might also lead Lord Ulrich's surrender and an easy victory for House Raven. From outside the circle, Lord Ulrich shut his eyes in anticipation of his son's death, while Amelia anxiously bit her fingernails and regretted not discouraging this plan of action. However, Nathan didn't cower, dodge, admit defeat, or brace himself, as most were expecting. Instead, he did something nobody in the stadium saw coming. He ran towards Grimgor, meeting him head-on at top speed in the middle of the ring. The two sword blades clashed together loudly, echoing out for miles into the city. Sparks flew up from the initial strike, and in the time it took to blink, 10 more blows were exchanged between the two swordsmen, each one blocked by the other. It happened so fast that all the audience could see was the spark that flew up from each lightning-fast meeting of the two swords. Finally, the audience gasped as their eyes fell on the two blades locked up against each other in a total draw. All throughout the stadium, people's mouths fell agape. Nobody would have expected this situation to occur. Nathan Hayfield really able to fight Grimgor Raven head-on? Am I seeing this right? They're evenly matched. How can a mere spiritual warrior student hold his own against a fully formed warrior? This is unbelievable. Instantly, the momentum shifted in favor of Nathan. The thousands of spectators were deeply moved by his display of such skill at a very young age. His actions inspired them and made their blood boil. After all, this was a land where the tales of individual heroes reigned supreme. Although most people would never have an opportunity to gain such respect, everyone valued and admired those who put their life on the line for familial honor and notoriety. As Nathan performed what most considered a miracle, Hilda Moonweaver smiled as the folks around her began to frown and give her odd looks. Her nosy nature and support of the Hayfield family had paid off after all, for nobody else knew of just how easily Nathan Hayfield completed the spiritual warrior examination. Of course, Hilda didn't know how strong Nathan was exactly, but she did know that he was many times more powerful than the pompous warrior he currently faced. Just below her on a lower deck of the stadium, Lord Byram Clay furiously stood out of his seat and began to complain to the other nobles around him as the stalemate in the fighting continued. A Lightstone ambush, my ass. The Hayfield kid's clearly a spiritual warrior genius after all. Looking back on his own actions, Lord Byram realized that his sons were cannon fodder after all, merely pawns to be pushed by the High Lord Raven. He realized that they had died in vain for no reason. Down in the stadium grounds at that very moment, the High Lord Raven grimaced. His gaze fell on several noble houses that quietly cheered for Nathan against his house, including the Lightstones. Remus Raven had never imagined that Nathan's strength was an equal match to Grimgor's, but after witnessing 10 strikes between the two, he knew that he had gravely miscalculated Nathan's actual power. Suddenly, Elder Marius approached Remus and urgently whispered in his ear, "My lord, I'm afraid this is all worse than we imagined. Although our house still has the strength to vanish the Hayfield boy, he's proven to be a formidable foe. We cannot allow him to yield or survive this challenge, for if he's able to continue growing, in 10 years' time, none of us will have the power to stop him." The High Lord Raven frowned as he nodded his head. "Let's just wait and see how this fight goes. Even if they seem well matched, Grimgor has far more combat experience. he should still be able to handle this, and the rest of them. Marius's eyebrows raised. But, my lord, look over at the Hayfield camp. They do not appear as weak as we once thought. If the boy is this strong, we can only imagine how powerful Lord Ulrich truly is. Remus Raven sighed and squinted through the holes in his ornate raven-shaped helmet to shift his gaze onto Lord Ulrich and Amelia. For some reason, his heart trembled when he saw Lord Ulrich's calm demeanor. As the stalemate dragged on, Grimgor's veins bulged as he gritted his teeth and pushed down on his blade with all his strength, while Nathan calmly held his position. Every once in a while, Grimgor's blade would slip off of Nathan's, and the two would exchange a flurry of cuts and thrusts, but both of them would parry and counterattack just as effectively as the other, so neither gained an advantage. As the fight dragged on, Grimgor began to breathe heavily and sweat. Nathan, meanwhile, remained calm and relaxed. His motions were smooth and precise as he held back Grimgor's wild, hacking onslaught. In truth, Nathan purposefully let the fight drag on, so as to further lure House Raven into a sense of security. He could have slayed Grimgor after 3 exchanges, but instead, he made sure to suppress his speed and strength, hoping that the High Lord Raven would estimate his abilities as equal to Grimgor's. For Nathan had many more ravens he wished to kill today, and if he cut one of them down too brutally, the others would frighten and likely fly away. Grimgor frowned as his latest overhead cut was swiftly blocked by Nathan. Although he didn't know it, Nathan had activated his Asura weakening aura after the very first blow, and it was only a matter of time before Grimgor would succumb to its effects. Grimgor already found himself to be more sluggish and weary than he usually was. Despite his ability to keep up with Nathan's movements for the moment, he felt his body begin to cramp up. His armor felt heavy, and his hands began to numb. He knew he had to finish this quickly, or he wouldn't have the strength to go on.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.